they were talking about if we could get Birkins for the Hermes store, and they was also saying how we depreciate the value of a Hermes Birkin bag. What the it just makes you want to be brag, like it just makes you want to brag, like, you know who the you're talking to, but no, I'm not even gonna take it there.
Luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. The viral TikToks from Chinese factory workers, the internet is now in a frenzy over claims that some of the most iconic designer bags are actually born in the East.
Got a lot of requests, do Hermes next. And that's why we're here in the Highland Park Mall.
Made in China. Or maybe made in Chile. Oh yeah, that should be a thing, by the way.
Cardi B just told everyone the truth about it. You know those super expensive handbags that cost $20,000? People buy them to show they are rich and important, but now we found out something crazy. These bags are not made by special artists in Europe like the companies tell us. They are made in big factories just like cheap clothes. A video on TikTok changed everything. Someone who works in a factory in China made this video. It showed how they make these luxury bags in the same place where they make regular stuff. The video went viral and millions of people saw it. Then Cardi B got really angry about this lie. She didn't write a nice letter or do a fancy interview. No way. She just said what she really thinks. Her words were so honest and strong that everyone on the internet started talking about it.
Hermes will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag. That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material.
In it, he said that famous fashion brands like Hermes, Gucci, Prada, Fendi, and Chanel don't make their bags in special workshops in Europe like they tell us. Where do they really make them? Right there in his factory. The same place where they make fake copies of designer bags. This man wasn't lying or trying to trick anyone. He walked around and filmed everything with his phone. He showed us long rows of bags that looked exactly like the expensive ones in fancy stores. These bags cost tens of thousands of dollars when you buy them. But here they were, sitting in a regular factory. Workers were putting expensive brand names on them and getting them ready to ship all over the world. The craziest part? They just stick on little labels that say Made in France like they are putting stickers on school notebooks. It was that easy to lie to customers. After this first video, more factory workers started making their own videos.
So Hermes has put out a response to China, and they have like a video in a factory sort of showing people trying to show that they're actually the ones who are making the bags in a factory somewhere in France.
She put the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete, 4 hours for just the handle. There are no manuals or cheat sheets. Artisans rely on their training and muscle memory to make every bag.
And then Cardi B showed up. She was loud, she was angry, and she was totally finished with all the lies. There was this TikTok video that everyone was watching. It showed a factory worker putting together bags that looked just like the super expensive Hermes Birkin bags. You know, those bags that cost more than a car. Cardi B saw this video and wrote a comment that made everyone go crazy. She said, "Hermes should just show how they make their bags. If everything legit, then it ain't no problem showing the factory right." This was pure Cardi B. Short, honest, and straight to the point. Other people loved her for being so brave, but some people got mad at her. They said she was being mean to the same luxury brands that she loves to buy from. One person wrote back to her, "Weren't you just showing off your Birkin bags on Instagram last month?" They were trying to make her look bad. But Cardi B didn't care what anyone thought. She said it again, even stronger this time. People deserve to know the truth about what they're paying for. This was really surprising because Cardi B owns tons of Hermes bags herself.
If we talking crap.
Wow! Okay, girl, see you, beautiful baby.
When someone like Cardi B, who has lived her whole life loving designer brands, starts asking hard questions, you know something big is wrong. The luxury fashion world isn't just about pretty clothes and bags. It's a huge money-making business. Hermes is one of the biggest companies in this business. Some of their bags cost up to $500,000. That's more than most people's houses. The whole luxury industry is worth $380 billion and keeps getting bigger every year. Or at least, that's what everyone thought. But in 2024, something bad happened. The luxury market lost 2% of its value. That might sound like a tiny number, but for such a huge business, losing 2% is like an earthquake. The biggest problem is in China. Chinese people used to buy almost half of all luxury goods in the world, but now they only buy 12% of luxury items. Young people especially are saying no thanks to Western designer brands. Instead, they're buying from local companies that tell the truth about their products and don't lie to customers. Now, after all these TikTok videos and Cardi B's honest words, people don't trust luxury brands anymore. The videos were even more shocking. You could see the expensive Hermes leather, the careful stitching, and all the metal parts. Everything looked exactly the same as the bags that famous people show off when they open their new purchases online. Then came the biggest shock of all. Someone made a video comparing a $25,000 Birkin bag with a $200 fake copy. Guess what? You couldn't see any difference. They used the same thread. They were made in the same building. The only difference was that one bag came with a fancy story and the other one didn't.
I've spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why? Because I had to know what made those bags so expensive.
Tanner Leatherstein isn't like other people on TikTok who just talk about fashion. This guy really knows about leather, and he's become the worst enemy that luxury brands could imagine. Tanner became famous by doing something that no one else dared to do. He takes expensive designer bags and cuts them open while filming everything. He shows people exactly what's inside these super costly bags that everyone thinks are so special. His discoveries were incredible. He found out that Chanel was lying to customers. They said their bags had real gold parts, but Tanner showed that they actually used cheap plastic covered with gold paint. When he cut open Louis Vuitton bags, he found stitching that was so bad it would break apart in less than a year. But the biggest shock came when Tanner cut open a Hermes bag. This wasn't just any bag, it was a $38,000 Birkin bag that people wait years to buy. What did he find inside? The bag only cost $600 to make. Yes, you read that right, $600. And that price included good quality leather and metal parts. There was no real gold, no expensive jewels, just smart advertising tricks. Tanner didn't stop there. He cut open dozens of expensive bags from different brands. What was his final opinion? Most of these bags were just big disappointments wrapped up in fancy brand names. You would think that Hermes would fight back, right? You'd expect them to make a documentary showing their skilled workers making bags by hand. But guess what happened? Nothing. They didn't write any press releases. They didn't post anything on Instagram. They just stayed completely quiet. And that silence said everything. Luxury influencers began removing brand tags from their posts. They deleted their shopping videos. They tried to distance themselves from these brands. For the first time ever, being connected to luxury brands felt dangerous. It felt like supporting a huge lie. The big question isn't, is this expensive bag worth the money anymore? Now people are asking, was it ever worth the money? Cardi B isn't just another famous person. She's much more important than that. She's culture itself. Her voice reaches parts of the internet that fashion company bosses could never reach. When Cardi B talks, millions of people listen carefully. Her comment about Hermes wasn't just a small side note, it was like setting off a bomb online. She made a growing movement much stronger and gave it credibility. For millions of her fans, seeing Cardi ask for honesty made it okay for them to demand answers too. Maybe Cardi was trying to protect her own image, sure, that's possible. But she was also doing something that most other celebrities wouldn't dare to do. She was making the luxury world answer for their actions. The same brands that used to love her support are now facing a huge storm of criticism. Cardi didn't just question Hermes, she made it cool and acceptable to stop pretending that everything was perfect. Let's be honest about this. This might be the exact moment that luxury fashion companies were most afraid of. If a $25,000 Birkin bag is made in the same place as a $250 fake copy, we're not just questioning the price anymore. We're questioning what's right and wrong. This isn't about fashion anymore. This is about dishonesty dressed up to look fancy and prestigious. This is about brands hiding behind old traditions to justify taking advantage of people. The truth is pouring out everywhere, through court documents, confessions from people who worked inside these companies, and viral TikTok videos. The fake illusion that was carefully stitched together is falling apart at every single seam. Hermes might try to fix everything and sew it back together, but the damage is already done. We're entering a completely new time period, one where the story behind how a product is made matters more than the actual product itself. Tell us in the comments, will you still buy from Hermes after learning all of this? Or do you think luxury is officially just one big lie?